This video is sponsored by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, use promo code CLNS20 for 20% off of your purchases. The Jacksonville Jaguars have made two big moves recently. They traded Yannick Ngakoue to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings got Ngakoue, who's a defensive end, and the Jaguars got a 2021 second-round pick and a conditional fifth-round pick for 2022. And part of the deal, which is interesting and kind of weird, is that Yannick Ngakoue was willing to take a $6 million pay cut to make the trade happen. And so the translation there is that he wanted out of Jacksonville so bad he would do anything, by any means necessary. He was willing to make it work to get out of Jacksonville. He didn't want to be part of their organization again. Ding, 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 ding. Red flag, red flag, red flag. And not about Yannick Ngakoue. It makes the organization in Jacksonville look bad. And then surprisingly, the Jaguars released their starting running back, Leonard Fournette. And Leonard Fournette has had an up-and-down career, but I do think Leonard Fournette was just finally starting to hit his stride in the NFL. I was excited about his year this year, excited to watch him. He was the number 4 overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. Some people label him a bust, and we'll talk about that more in a minute. But first I want to say this, is that I feel so bad for the Jaguars quarterback, Gardner Minshew. I feel so bad for him. You do realize what's happening, right? You do realize what's going on? The Jaguars are pinning Gardner Minshew back and setting him up for failure. They are not giving him a good situation to play in. They're not supporting Gardner Minshew. And what that tells me is that they're not committed to him long term. They aren't even committed to winning, in my opinion. I see a lot of stuff out there. For some weird reason, it's become a debate. People are saying, are the Jaguars tanking? Are the Jaguars tanking? Let's end the debate. Why is that a debate? Yes, absolutely. The Jaguars, they're tanking. It's very clear to me. And in case you don't know what that means is that they are losing intentionally, or at least they're trying to lose intentionally, so they can get a higher draft pick in the NFL Draft. They're tanking for Trevor Lawrence, who's expected to be the number 1 quarterback in the NFL Draft. And if it's not Trevor Lawrence, they're going to get whoever the top quarterback is in the NFL Draft. And here's how tanking works in the NFL. It's not the players, it's not the coaches. Because week in and week out, coaches and players are trying to win. Players need to put good stuff on film because they got to get paid. And if they don't do well on film, people see, hey, you've been playing poorly, you're not going to get paid in the future. So players got to take care of business, do the best they can. Players are not involved in tanking at all. And coaches take the team they're given, which is a key word there, a key phrase. They take the team that they're given, and then coaches have to game plan and strategize to try and win with what they have. They game plan and find ways to try and win. They may not succeed, but the players and coaches, they give everything they have because their jobs and their reputation depend on it. Tanking does not happen with players and coaches. Tanking in the NFL happens in the front office. Coaches can scheme all they want, but if they're given a bad roster, they're not going to win. They're going to lose. And a team's front office will trade away their top players. They'll try to go get draft picks. They will get rid of all their big contracts. They'll say, goodbye, Nick Foles. Goodbye, Leonard Fournette. See you later, Jalen Ramsey. Bye, Yannick Ngakoue. We're getting draft picks for you. The Jaguars roster is trying to void the Jaguars front office is trying to void their roster of talent. They're trying to get rid of all their talent to make them less competitive. That is how an NFL team will tank. Again, not the players, not the coaches. That's exactly what the Jaguars are doing. They're tanking. They're getting rid of their talent. And I take it personally because they're screwing over Gardner Minshew, a guy who I care about, a dude I've met. I've shaken his hand. I met him in college. I root for Gardner Minshew. And so watching him get screwed over is personally hard for me to watch. It's hard for me to see. And the Jaguars have stripped the team around Gardner Minshew. They're scheming, they're plotting, and they're trying to make him look bad. It seems like that. Maybe they're not trying intentionally to make Gardner Minshew look bad, but they're trying to lose, and that's going to make Gardner Minshew look bad. You're going to make him look bad, then they're going to replace him. Hey, you stink, we lost, you're out, next guy in. And so when the Jaguars are bad this year, this is something I've said for a long time. Go back, listen to my old videos. I've been saying this for months. When the Jaguars are bad this year, do not blame their quarterback. They're setting him up to fail. They took away almost all of his tools. I mean, Gardner Minshew's going to try and fight. That's who he is. He's going to work his butt off to do the best he can. But there's nothing to work with. If you take away a builder's tools, they're not going to get mad at him when he has nothing left to build you a house because, oh, you took away everything I have to build a house is gone. How can I build you a house with no tools? And Gardner deserves better. I mean, he really does. The Jaguars are going to replace him, which is stupid because the film says that he's a good quarterback. And honestly, getting replaced by the Jaguars could really help Gardner Minshew. Because in a weird, kind of, sort of odd way, it could help him get out of a bad situation with a team that's not supporting him. He could go to a better team. Gardner Minshew could go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Saints or the Steelers. Go to Pittsburgh. Try to replace a Hall of Fame quarterback, a guy who was good and is now retiring. Go to a good roster where all they need is a quarterback. And hey, Gardner Minshew, take him for cheap. It's a cheap contract. I mean, I think the Cowboys would be better off with Gardner Minshew in his contract than giving Dak Prescott $100 million. But my main point here is that Gardner Minshew is too good of a quarterback to not be a starter in the NFL. To have Mitchell Trubisky starting, to have potentially Justin Herbert starting in the NFL, but you leave Gardner Minshew behind, that's just wrong and idiotic and stupid. And to me, it's really annoying because I'm watching Gardner Minshew get screwed over by politics, a team that's not trying to be competitive. They're not supporting him. And for me, that's really, really annoying. Now, one thing that's kind of going on here that I find really weird and kind of stupid is that people keep saying that the Jaguars released their running back Leonard Fournette because he doesn't fit their system. What? That's really stupid. I don't agree with that at all. It's a coach's job, in case you don't know, it's a coach's job to build your system around your players. And then also, how could he not be a good fit? I don't understand because Leonard Fournette runs the ball really hard. He can also catch the ball out of the backfield. I don't know how you can't find a spot on your roster for a guy like that. So basically, it's a nonsensical excuse to say, well, we can't find a spot for Leonard Fournette because he's not a good fit in our system. Then build your system around a good running back. I don't understand it. Again, the Jaguars are tanking. They're not trying to win. They're not trying to be competitive. Now, I will say they do have a couple of good players. They've got DJ Chark. They got Josh Allen. Miles Jack, a really good linebacker. I watched him play at Bellevue High School from my home state. Got Gardner Minshew. But the reality is that the Jaguars do not have enough good players to be competitive. And that's not an accident. That's by design. The Jaguars are tanking. In the 2021 draft, the Jaguars have 2 first-round picks. That's next year's draft, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a third-round pick, 2 fourth-round picks. They also have a pick in each of the 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. The Jaguars are trading away or getting rid of their talented players and stockpiling draft picks. Because the Jaguars, without a shadow of a doubt, the Jaguars are tanking.